Trucker Dump for April 27th, 2009, Episode 16, A Miracle in Indiana.
Welcome to Trucker Dump, where you'll get one driver's insights and sometimes humorous views of truck driving and the trucking industry, and pretty much anything else he feels like dumping on you. This podcast is brought to you by AboutTruckDriving.com. Resources to help you understand the world of truck driving through the use of stories and a pathetic attempt at humor.
Hello all, and welcome back. Todd McCann here. Today is going to be a challenge in the audio department. I've got a truck idling full blast next door. Can't say as I blame him though, it's freaking freezing outside. Remember, just because this post was written in April a few years back, I'm recording it in December. Anyway, I've been pretty happy with how well my mic has been blocking most of the noise, so hopefully that continues. So let's get on with today's heavenly story. It shall be called A Miracle in Indiana. I'm a believer in God, and I believe in miracles. They're around us every day. According to the laws of physics, a bumblebee's wings are too small to lift it off the ground, yet they do the job well enough to make me run and scream like a little girl. People are miraculously saved from impending accidents by pets. A mother somehow knows that her daughter is in trouble even though she's 2,000 miles away at the time. A hospital patient comes out of a coma after 15 years. Yes, miracles are real, but they just don't happen to me very often. Until yesterday. I'd gone into a customer to see if I could pick up a load early, but they were having none of that. The shipping lady told me to come back at 5 p.m. Since I wasn't allowed to park on their property, she suggested a truck stop 2.5 miles down the road. I'd seen it on the way in, so I went there to wait it out. Bejeweled occupied my time quite nicely. Actually, too nicely. After playing a while, I glanced at the clock, which showed it to be 3:30. Plenty of time. As anyone who plays video games can tell you, time freaking flies when you're having fun. The next time I looked up, it was 4:59. Holy cow! I slapped my MacBook Pro shut and pulled out of the truck stop. I wasn't going to be late, as I knew I had until 7 p.m. to pick up the load, so I wasn't in a huge hurry, but I wasn't paying attention either. That's when I saw it in the distance. A black car with something on top. I hoped it was a luggage rack, but I didn't hold out much hope. It wasn't. One glance at my speedometer told me I was going somewhere between 55 and 60 miles an hour. Problem was, I had no idea what the speed limit was. The road I was on ran alongside an interstate, but that told me nothing. It could have been 35 miles an hour, or it could have been 55 or 60 miles an hour. As the Indiana State Trooper went past me, I thought I had gotten lucky. Not so. As soon as he got past, he whipped a U-turn and got behind me. I knew he was going to pull me over, but still he didn't do anything. I could see the shipper in the distance, and I was praying that I could turn off and he wouldn't bother with me. Again, no such luck. He flipped on the cherries. As there was no shoulder and no side roads to pull over, I turned on my hazard flashers and slowly proceeded to the next turnoff, which was right beside the shipper. The cop seemed to realize that I couldn't pull over, so he waited patiently until I did. I grabbed my license and truck registration and stepped out of the cab. Now, I've had cops get all pissy and paranoid on me for stepping out before, but this officer didn't seem to have a problem with it. As he drew closer, I was surprised by how young he was. He couldn't have been a day over 25. I told him that I stepped out because the wife was sleeping and I didn't want to wake her up. He understood and asked if I realized I was speeding. I said, I realized it about the time I saw you. As he eyed my license and registration, I pointed at the shipper and explained that I had already been here once and that I had been waiting at the truck stop until my load was ready at 5. As that had nothing to do with me speeding, I don't know why I even mentioned it. Nervous babble, I suppose. He made no comment. Then he asked to look at my logbook. I'd been expecting that, but I've learned that you never offer your logbook unless an officer asks for it. Even if you're pulled into a weigh station and you're told to bring your paperwork in for inspection, you never take your logbook. If it's right in front of an officer's face, they're liable to look at it. If not, he or she may not bother. Out of sight, out of mind. For the most part, it works. The reason truckers do this is because a single miscalculation or slip of the pen could end up costing you hundreds of dollars. Anyway, I jumped back in the cab and handed it out to him, grateful that I had remembered to update it before I started playing Bejeweled. That in itself is a miracle, since I normally would have waited until after I was loaded before I caught the logbook up. He asked, "When was the last time you got a ticket?" I knew it had been a while, so I said, probably 3 years. He said, "I'll be back." I wonder how he said that phrase without saying it like Arnold. I just can't do it. "I'll be back." As I waited in the cab, I hoped for the best. I kept glancing in my side mirror and hoping he would get out quickly and come back with a warning, but he stayed put. When I finally saw his door open, I didn't know whether he had time to write a ticket or not. I anticipated the worst. As he handed my license, registration, and logbook back to me, he said, "Have you learned your lesson?" I think the shock on my face amused him, as I could tell he was suppressing a smile. I said, "Yes, sir, I have," feeling a little awkward calling a guy half my age sir. He said that 99% of troopers would have issued me a ticket and that I should feel fortunate. I assured him that I was very grateful. I asked him if he minded telling me how fast I was going, to which he replied, 56 in a 40-mile-an-hour zone. I said, "Ouch," before I could stop myself. He said, "Yeah, it's a $170 fine." I cringed and thanked him again for the warning. I told him that he had kept me out of a lot of hot water with my company and my driving record. He seemed to know this and told me to remember him any time I saw a speed limit sign. Ironic, since me not seeing the speed limit sign was why I was in this position in the first place. So there's my miracle. When you're a truck driver, getting out of any ticket is rare. Fines in trucks are steeper than the fines you get in automobiles, and they're a great source of revenue for state economies. But getting out of the kind of ticket I escaped is almost unheard of. 16 miles an hour over the speed limit is considered a major violation, and that is exactly why I was stopped. When it comes to trucking companies and state motor vehicle departments, this kind of ticket is right up there with reckless driving, driving while intoxicated, and leaving the scene of an accident. That's serious stuff. And so was a ticket I miraculously avoided. Sure, it's not quite as miraculous as childbirth or surviving a worldwide flood in a wooden boat filled with pairs of animals, but hey, I'll take any kind of miracle I can get. Now, if I could just quit seeing that trooper's face every time I see a stinking speed limit sign. Enough with the guilt already. Hammer down. Well, there you have it. Yet another cop story. So now, it's your turn. Write in and tell us about your run with the fuzz. If you want everyone to see it, just head on over to abouttruckdriving.com, type TD016 into the search bar, and yarn away. Or, if you'd prefer, you can shoot me an email at truckerdump@gmail.com. Although I gotta say, it's good. It's gonna end up on a future podcast anyway. And remember, you can always follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Todd McCann. That's 2 D's, 2 C's, and 2 N's. And if you want to provide me with yet another miracle, please subscribe to the blog or the podcast. Well, thanks for listening. So until next time, drive safe and stay out of my way.